Welcome to episode 3 of Tusk Traditions. How fitting that episode 3 is going to be about the third Saturday in October matchup between Bama and Tennessee this weekend. A lot of times, sometimes this game, the way it falls on the schedule, it's the second week in October or the fourth week, but not this year. This year we're getting the third Saturday in October when it's right where it's supposed to be. I'm trying to make this video shorter. I said that last video and then instead of making it longer, so I'm going to do my best to get all my thoughts in here and try to make it a shorter video. Another week in a row where we're playing a top 25 matchup. It's the fourth game in a row, all SEC play, where we are starting with a ranked opponent. So I mentioned last episode that it's the first time Bama's gone 3-0. The first ranked opponent start SEC play. So that was the first time for 3-0. If we go 4-0 this weekend, it'll be another record-breaking stat. And hopefully we will. As we get into it, I'll talk about what I think we got to do to get that 4 in a row. Another great thing for this weekend for Bama, it's a revenge factor is there. Same thing it was with Vandy. Same thing it'll be when we play Oklahoma later this year. You always like to have a little more of a chip on your shoulder. So we'll just see how that goes. Another thing I've been seeing a lot online is that people are kind of calling for both teams to wear their home uniforms. So Bama wearing the crimson, Tennessee wearing that horrible orange. I like that idea. They used to do it a long time ago. I think it looks good. I think it kind of amplifies the matchup of these two really storied programs. So maybe something we can look at next year. Something that the rivalry always does is that both bands perform at halftime, which is unique and kind of interesting. So why not make it a little more interesting and add both home uniform element to it. Vegas and ESPN really like Alabama in this game. ESPN gives Alabama a 72.8% chance to win, and Vegas has set the line at 8.5. So 2 scores in the favor of Alabama. Big matchup at quarterbacks. We have the number 1 and number 2 SEC passing yards leader. Joey Aguilar is actually leading the SEC. He is beating Ty out by 2 yards right now. So I'm sure with a good weekend from Ty this weekend, which I expect, they'll go ahead and flip that around. Tennessee comes in this game off a really close home win versus Arkansas. Tennessee has not won in Alabama since 2003. I was 1 year old when that was the last time they were able to have success in our home stadium. I think in this game, Tennessee is going to look at what Vanderbilt and Missouri did on the opening drives, and they're going to try to replicate that. I think if you go back far enough to the Georgia game, we kind of controlled the early tempo of that game. I think the past 2 weeks, Tennessee's going to try to do that. Tennessee hasn't been held under 34 points this year. They've been scoring. They average 48.17 points a game, so they're going to want to score. But one thing with their head coach and Josh Heupel is that he's been able to shape-shift how he wants the game to play out. Look at the last 2 meetings at Tennessee. When they had Juliet Hyatt, scoring 5 touchdowns, lighting the scoreboard up, they were able just to win a shootout, 52-49. But we look at their last win at Tennessee with Jalen Milroe, it was more of a can we control this game? I think that score was 24-17 off the top of my head. So what kind of Josh Heupel will we get? He's been able to shape-shift his game plans. I think this year Tennessee's going to want to make it a shootout. So Bama needs to get back to what we did versus UGA. Don't let Tennessee get off to any hot starts. Kind of be able to control that game. We'll see how that goes. Similar to last week, I do like our receiving matchup versus their secondary. I think we'll be able to have our way with them. Tennessee's defense ranks in the 100s in points allowed and yards allowed a game. So this is a really good chance for Ty and the rest of the offense to really kind of put the ball down the field and put some points on the board and rack up the yards. Now, this is also not going to help a defense in the 100s in those 2 stat categories. Is that their star cornerback Jamad McCoy was just ruled out last night on their latest injury report. So, like I said, bad news for a defense that already seems to be struggling stopping the pass and preventing yards. On that same kind of note, Jam Miller went down last week with a concussion versus Missouri. As of right now, he's listed as questionable. Same game last week, Missouri with Derek Meadows took a scary hit. He also was listed with a concussion, but he is out for this weekend. So we will see how it progresses with Jam Miller. Today's Thursday, so if he can, get through the rest of the concussion protocol this week, and doctors and team physicians feel like he's good to go, and the trainer, we'll see what we can get. Jam will be big. I mean, Jam, look at when we've had Jam on the field versus when we haven't had Jam on the field, and our running production, it's a drastic difference. So hopefully, he'll be able to get back into game shape, and we'll be able to have him on ready to go on the sideline for Saturday. My keys to this game is don't allow Tennessee to get off to a hot start. We saw it with Missouri. We saw it with Vanderbilt. These scheming, these first drives, and Vanderbilt was able to do it a little bit more than the first drive. But those teams came off bye weeks and some easier games, and you can argue that Tennessee should be coming off an easier SEC game versus Arkansas. They haven't played well this year, but like I said, Tennessee had to earn that win. It was 34-31. They let Arkansas come back, and so we'll see how that early into that game can go, because I think Tennessee's going to want to jump out. I think Tennessee has to score points to win this game. I don't see a world, maybe wherever, but I don't see a world where Tennessee doesn't score 30 points to win. I think that's kind of the number they're circling, is getting over that 30 margin. So they're going to want to score points and score points fast. I don't think they want to make it like 2 years ago in Rocky Top, where it was can they control the game and 24-17 kind of thing. I think they're going to want to get out. My next key to the game is don't turn the ball over. Don't give this Tennessee extra possessions. It all goes back to my first point. They're going to score. If we keep giving them the ball, keep giving them more chances to score, it's going to be bad news for the Tide. And then my last key to the game is, can Ty continue to be the Heisman favorite? He's got the tools on our team, and he's got the secondary to go attack. Kind of that same little Heisman talk with him. Imagine if Ty's last name was Manning. I mean, they would already have the Heisman Trophy engraved with his name. It's not. And this is the reality of where we're at in college football and the media. So we'll see. Those are my keys to the game. I think if we can control those, be a good Crimson Tide Saturday with a good victory. My score prediction, like I said, if all of those keys are met and all those things I just talked about we can do and control, I think my score would be 38-27 Alabama. I think, if you care about covering, I think we'll be able to cover with that. Look for a big day from Ty. I said it last week, and if you call 200 yards and 3 touchdowns a good day, which I definitely do, then I can look for that to continue. And then I think on the other side, if we're going to win in the margin I just mentioned, defense has got to come up with 2 or 3 turnovers. I think we can definitely win without that. Might be a little bit closer. It's kind of like the whole week the offense and Ty have said we left some meat on the bone versus Missouri. We're happy to win, and I saw some of all these Alabama fans just pulled. We're complaining about a win, but I realized it. Anyone who really watches the game understands analytics standpoint in football that there was more that we left in that Missouri game, and they realized it. It's always a good thing when a team can self-reflect and realize something like that. So look for that to be a driving factor even more in this game to kind of go out and push a little bit more. So if all this happens, it will be a good day on Saturday. So hope everybody enjoys the third Saturday in October. It looks like I was able to make this video shorter, just like I promised. That's a good thing. So I hope we all we're staying real tight on Saturday, and be a good game. Thanks.